Well, my heart is heavy on this issue, South Africa, and it's heavy on different grounds, and on different angles. Oh my God, what's happening? Okay. For those that are on TikTok, if you know any influential South Africans, or any other South African that you interact with by TikTok, mwaitani chifukwa ndi South Africans. I want to speak to South Africans. Ndi anthu amene mayankhulana ndi anthu aku South Africa mmaziwa mwaitani pa TikTok. Chifukwa ndi nawo mawu specifically speak directly to my source. Ndifuna ndauze my source wise. Today ndifuna ndauze my source wise. Ndeni apa TikTok amene mungakwanise kwaitana kama mwitana Trevor Noah, kama mwitana ndani, kama mwitana oyimba mmaitana aja, mmaitana kuzayimba nyimbo zawo ku Malawi, chanchanya Malawi mashow awo mmaitana aitaneni. Ndifuna ndauze mawu awirata. Even Julius Malema, I have got a word for Julius Malema. Zawo silu ni madana nazo. Now, zinthu zili heavy for I'm speaking to different audience. Zoyankhula kwa Malawi, amene ali ku Malawi, koma choyambirira focus ya live nda Malawi amene ali ku South Africa, amene ali stuck, amene akuyenda kubwera ku Malawi, amene akuchoka ku South Africa, amene akufuna kuchoka ku South Africa, amene they don't feel safe in South Africa anymore, and they want to leave, So I want to speak to those, and then by Malawi, amene ali ku Malawi, I want to speak to them as well. Malawi, amene ali ku Malawi, Malawi, yeah, and then ndiyankhulenda Malawi ku South Africa, ndi ndifunanso ndiyankhulane ndi atsogoleri ku Malawi, ndi ndifuna ndiyankhulane ndi atsogoleri ku Africa, ndi ndifuna ndiyankhulane ndi ma South Africans. Then I want to speak to leaders in Africa. And then I want to speak to the world. So it's a process zichitika in 1 hour. I'll do all that in 1 hour. Panopa ndi about 5:10 in Malawi. 17:11 now. Ndio kamati 7 o'clock. I'm done. Yeah. Oh, it's 6 o'clock. Sorry, that's 2 hours. If it's 7, that's 2 hours. Like kamati 6 o'clock. I'll be done. Yeah. Choyambirira Malawi amene mukhala ku Malawi panatuluka video imene the Minister of Foreign Affairs George Chaponda amayankhula. Video imeneyi ndiyo lisindena kuchedwa nayo koma video yi in essence panalika clip kamene George Chaponda amanena kuti ku Mzimba ndi anthu amene anachoka mazulu angoni amene anachoka kuchani ku South Africa and anazafika ku Malawi ndipo anazakhazikira amene alibe mapepala and all that. In entire video, I knew what the minister was saying, anangodabwa kuti kuchoka mwakuti kachitika chipokoso ndithu mapokoso anyoza bwanja nthawi Mzimba atinena bwanja kuti ife ndiye ine dziko lathu. And then I saw kunali ma prominent people that spoke. In fact, panova ma prominent people have said saying sinamvetse bwinobwino koma nditamvetsera video yonse panova ndendamva understand what the ground. What the heck? Are you stupid or what? Kakripi kamene anayankhula a minister George Chaponda, who is not my favorite, because he's not my favorite chifukwa chona zoti anabachimanga Chaponda chata anabachimanga nkhani yachimanga cha Chaponda nali ulapo koti linapanga kili ifoti koti lake ndi ndani kodi ndakatangalika mufufuze kuti koti imene inampanga kili Chaponda ndi ndani ndi koti lake ndi ndani katangali wakujulisha ali mu top 7 judge amene, if not top 5 actually, ali mu top 5 ndikateo ine imene antusa Chaponda tunaona kuti sana lako mpaka na uzapeza kuti Charles Kajoloweka anabangidwa kuti kana nkhani yake yomweyonso Kajoloweka makosta tene nkhani yake yomweyo kangati tu ina nkhani yake yomwe ndayiwala kumano paka Kajoloweka nthawi ya DPP yoyambirira ichi anali busy ankapanga advocacy. And big up Charles Kajoloweka. We have not forgotten the sacrifices you made when DPP in first term ya APM. You stood your ground. Unagwira ntchito bwino kwambiri Charles, and will not forget, Mene unagwira ntchito kumuja iweyo ndiwena mene zikumayendera mwe ndi ndikuena tipange Charles Kajoweka Day, Remembrance Day apo. Honestly, mene how Charles Kajoweka fought, you know, against impunity between 2014 and 2019. We should be thinking about, you know, kind of holiday, Charles Kajoweka. Remembrance Day. So, what George Chaponda was saying was clear. He was making a counter argument against the conduct of South Africans, the way they are treating Malawians. So, basically, the argument was, could you don't say and people move, people migrate, and there are different reasons why people migrate and all that. The minister wouldn't have been that down to try or to suggest that the Ngonis from Zimba are foreigners in Malawi. That was not the suggestion, not at all, because history is clear. History is clear. In 830, the Fekane, what is history? History is the best teacher, but you don't know history. You haven't done your history. History is the best teacher, but you don't know what is the best history you want to put and done. And what another 1830. We talk of South Africa. When Chaka adavuta Chaka Zulu, so they and amene wanayankhondo kwambiri anthu ankhondo anthu okunda kuphana kuti mfumu imakhala imodzi ndipo akakhalira kodikira mfumu amamuthamangisa kuti yazandiphawe. So anathawa kuthawa ino mfumu ina kuti impweteka ndikubwera kwangasete ku Malawi anayenda mwambiri ndithu. To the fact that a minister who is from Lomwe belt, who is a Lomwe essentially, cannot call the Ngonis from Zimba as foreigners, because here and American foreigner guy. George Chaponda, the Ngonis from Zimba. The Ngonis came here before the Lomwes. Alomwe abuyatu pompano ku Malawi. Alomwe abuyatu ku Malawi in 19th and 20th century. Pamene these guys, they came in the 17th century. You know, they came earlier. So dzikoli ngati pali pakati pa Alomwe ndi Angoni aku Mzimba. Anyaka dzikoli ndi Alomwe amina Angoni aku Mzimba. Alomwe anapeza Angoni mwachidule. Alomwe anapeza Angoni Malawi muno. Ama Angoni atapakhazika kale, Alomwe ndimena. Ama Angoni abwera, Alomwe abwera pompano kuti kuchokera ku Mozambique. Andamabwera ngati laborers. So know your history and then you understand. But the minister was not saying whatever people suggested. Not even, you don't even need to go listen to the whole interview. Just what he said. Do you read that clip? You clip your man out, hey, I misinterpreted the clip because I listened to the short version. People are just tribalistic, but they do not want to accept it. That's why small things, George zoyankhula, because they are tribalistic at heart. These people, they are tribalistic at heart. Why still Zama tribal Angoni tikhale apa atumbuka tipange chonji achenchoni tikumane tipange za molalo watu Alomwe tipange makho Alomwe anthu amene amalimbikitsa zimene jazo mukakhala nawo mukamvetsa bwinobwino they are tribalistic. That's why the speech of the minister would quickly cause havoc when the minister actually meant good. He was trying to defend Malawians that are in South Africa. Good is menakupanga and South Africa. What the South Africans are doing is stupid, simple, stupid, nothing else to explain. It's ignorant for South Africans to behave and act the way they have acted, and they continue to act. And this has been happening for years. It just comes for some time or for some years, and then it happens again. This might be the worst maybe we have seen, but this conduct by South Africans has been happening for years. Now, people deliberately stop thinking. They think with their tribalistic eyes. Because the minister was trying to defend Malawians and protect South Africans. You can't do this. If you knew how life works, if you knew your history, if you knew your South Africa, how is South Africa made? Mr. What is South Africa? We want the South Africa history. So the minister was trying to bring that out. Kuma, Antu, Okonda Mitundu, Osankana Mitundu, they were already fired up. Hey, how can the minister say, Timo, Abange resign? What the heck? What are you smoking? What are you smoking? Like, inayo kunena kuti. Anthu amene akunena kuti hai ndinangoonera clip yomalizira ndaona maposta ngapo anthu kuti ndimalemekeza. Oh, I thought that ndanthu amaganiza ndinalemba kumano koyamba ndalemba ndangoona ka clip kakang'ono ndesinaganize kuti bwino sinaone fana clip yaing'onoyo. When you listen to it, there's nothing panaibe cholakwa chimene minister analakwa pa clip yaing'ono imene ikunenedwayo. You listen to the clip, you see kuti it is because anthu amene anamvera clip yo amene akunena kuti anamva modelo, they are tribalistic at heart. They pretend to be advanced, they pretend to be educated, they pretend to be inclusive, they pretend to be diverse in their thinking, they pretend they advance equality. Come deep down in their bedrooms, in their secret rooms, they are tribalistic. Simple. And then there's always a time that comes out without them realizing that it's coming out. This is my honest manifestation. Now, to Malawians in Johannesburg, to Malawians in Durban, especially Durban, kumene kwavuta kwambiri ku Durban, and kule Malawi ndikumva kuti 7,000 now, stuck and waiting for the government or governments to help them. First things first, when there is a chaos like this, you have to help yourself. Amene mungakwanise kupeza njira yobwera kumudzi. Bwera ni kumudzi musadikire zolandira, musadikire zaulere. Some of the chaos that we have at that camp is because anthu ena aona kuti pali njira yobwera zaulere. So kandama kaka ndikayambire kunyumba and all that. I can't blame them. But what you do by mukapanga zimene zozo, you are mukupangisa anthu amene alibe nkuthekera komwe kuti avutike. In fact, anthu amene ndikuthekera pano as we speak ku camp kumene kujawo kuli katangale, kwachitikaso katangale, kukuchitika katangale. Amene azimangidwa prioritize apereka kina kake kwa akulu. There's a lot of chaos that is going to happen, and that is happening as I speak. So, my call is inuyo amalawi amene muli stuck ku Durban. Amene muli stuck pa kupanga kaiza priorities za moyo, saving lives. Then tikamba za issue ya Malawi, amene tili ku Malawi. Then tizakamba za leaders, then tizakamba za South Africans. I want to close this by speaking to stupid South Africans, because South Africans are stupid, and this is a call to the whole nation of South Africa. It's not good in Mazuru Oka, I'll call out South Africa, because this issue atwasakani nani ayina Julius Malema sabwe kuna kuti iziza kupanga ndi anthu ndiwakuti no, that things don't do that. Don't do that. You are part of South Africa. Inuyo mukulola bwanji Mazulu kuti azipanga zimenezo. South Africans ena sinaone bwanji South Africans ena kupanga so demo and meeting the other people head on. Yet you are there. We haven't seen you covering these people up. Why protect you? Why not doing that? Ne kumapeto kwake ndikamba za South Africans ndi aphunzisa za zinthu zimene sinakuziwa, and the refugee killing, chasing, whatever they are doing, si tukula dziko la South Africa singapite patsogolo ifa athamangisa migrants, anthu obwera, or my immigrants, or refugee seekers, or whatever it is, investors is it. Ngati nzathu uyu anapalamula wakuzingwanga anapalamula nkumanya kuti I'm an investor. Anzanga amene muli ku Durban ku camp, amene mungakwanise kukwera ma transport kugwisa ntchito ndalama zanu, pangani zimenezo mmango, pangani zimenezo changu kuti muzithandize nokha, komanso muthandize abale ena amene alibe ali zinthu zapeza ali oshoda, anthu onena kuti analibe ndi savings yomwe ku account wako amene, so that we save lives anthu achafike kumudzi. So responsibility ndiyo yambira kwa ife amene ku South Africa inyake ukampoko. We should not be anthu omangopanga push responsibility udindo. Ife anyange tikhali ndi udindo, ndipo tipangane organize kumukuziwa naso kumene koko mumaziwa kuti awa amabhulo wa life iyi, awa amapanga chonchi, awa ndoti mukuziwa naso. So prioritization, ngati mukufuna kupanga benefit chabwino dikirani koma mukhalise kumene koko anthu amene ali osoweka, amene afika kukampu ifoti ndi anthu ene kuti alibe dikali kose. They were living hand to mouth, which is a reality of most people in diaspora. Timakhala moyo wa hand to mouth. Even in a kuti sinimavutika ku diaspora, it's very difficult to have to save umakhala mundu hand to mouth, because life is expensive. So what more for my laborers? Anthu amene akugwira ntchito, it's hand to mouth. So I wouldn't be, or I wouldn't look down kapena kunyazitsa anthu amene alibe ngakhale transport yobwerera. Ndikamala yankhula za anthu aku South Africa ndi yankhula mchizungu. Kodi bwanji kodi? Dekani kaye. Dekani. So, anthu amene tili ku Durban, amene tili ndikuthekera kopanga ma transport patoka. Let's not wait for government. Before Malawi ndi chikhalidwe chimene chochoti even ngakhala amene ndikuthekera kwa kuja amakusiya kaye ndikutenga zaulere zija. Everyone wants akala ndi zaulere. Ndifake kuli chiyankhulo ngati chomanena kuti hey, Fanta wako kwatama koma kwambiri. Inu Fanta iwanga company yomwe. Fanta wake yomwe, Fanta wake samakhala utentha wako kwatuja. Akuti amakoma kwambiri. Ndi nkhani yongofuna tima ongolandira. So one of the biggest problems that we are having ku kampu kuja ndi anthu amene andi kuthekera kobwera ku Malawi. Andi ndalama zokwanira kuti atha kubwera ku Malawi, koma akufuna iwo atengeza ulere. Andika kanizidwe kunena kuti Fanta wako kwati amakoma kuposa amakoma kwambiri. What do you mean Fanta wako kwati amakoma kwambiri? Ndi khalidwe la dyera, ndi khalidwe la we have some expressions that manifest, that reveals what kind of people we are. And hajira ukampuko Durban amene mwe ndikuthekera kobwera tapanga nizonena unena kuti munyamuke muzibwera. Don't stop kapena musachedwetse anthu amene alibe kuthekera komwe, anthu amene alili ovutikitsitsa. We want the priority, anthu amene akwena kweme aibwera anthu amene alibire tukalikose. Chifukwa anthu amene mwendeka anthu nonso mufunanso mubupite kusogolo, mufuna mupereke ndalama, mufuna mujesereke nakake kuti mufike kusogolo. So that we should not allow, and we should pay attention to these things. Chachiwiri njonena kuti pamene muli kukampuko sinthawi so yoti muzigonana so kukampuko so mpasani so mimba kukampuko mupapase ngati kuli ana achichepere atsikana mutigwiririre kapena mutigone mutipange difa. Behave. Azibambo maka michira yanuyo mangani sungani. Sinthawi ino ndaona ka message ina, I don't know whether it was a joke or what, akuti kakapo kena akufuna privacy kukampu kuja nje zopusa basi. You are mukutawa nkhondo kuti mphamvu azibambo pina pake zomayima mmazitenga kutiko. Anthu muli pa mavuto, you are struggling, you don't have food, mulibe ogona mpamene kuma mbezika muganiza za sex. Are you okay? Iwe mukutawa mipeni ya misosi matsotsi akudikira ndi mipeni kuti akubaye anyhow. Pamenepo mukuganiza kunena kuti panopa ndi kuti iwe ukuoneka bwino thako limene ndi bwanji. Iwe pamenepo ndikuti basi anthuso mabandi aso akusokonekera kukampu kujawa kuganiza zawa. I think the body wants what it wants. No. The body wants what it wants. No. The body is you. You want that. You are the body. To be behave. We allow it. We are in control of our bodies. And we need to learn. If we are not, you're going to die, guy. You're going to die. If you're not control of the body wants what it wants. You're going to die, guy. With HIV, you're going to die with chindoko. Ndikunena izi chifukwa anthu amene akubwera ku South Africa, and the government has to prepare. Madokotala muli kutiko nkhani a Minister of Health, you're supposed to be on top of it, because anthu amene akubwera ku South Africa abwera ndi matenda, abwera ndi chindoko cha mtundu wina, abwera ndi mabomu a mtundu wina, abwera ndi matapwisa osiyana-siyana, abwera ndi zimatenda, even zizifuwa zakujonizo zikabwera kumaya kuja kukhaso ka health situation kena kake anthu mutengera, abwera ndi mayezi akujoni. And this is not I'm saying the reality. People, HIV is part of the diseases. So akabwera anthu aja afunaso kutiso amasuke sukunoko. Ndiye inuyo health, Minister of Health, mungena ukhala soguluka kuona kuti zinthu zimpange, manage. You should manage these things. Ndikukamba izi ena akuseka, but this is real. This is a reality. Pamene pali anthu abwera ndizokandakanda ndi mphere zawo kumeneko. Anthu ndagona manje kukampa ndoti sana sambi alizonunka akungonunka zanyasi. Misa kuti the body wants what it wants. How did the body wants what it wants? You haven't bathed for 3 days, but you're busy. You want sex. Oh. The idea that the movement of people from South Africa should just be an issue for foreign affairs, it's lack of wisdom. This is an issue to do with foreign affairs, Minister of Health, even Homeland, it was supposed to be involved. Coordination, kumapanga coordinated sintuzi. Homeland, we now involved. Minister of Finance, because you're talking about issues and moving these people, including Ministry of Justice. There are issues, a lot of things. And South Africa, we need to ensure how do we organize my lawyers. In fact, Malay Law Society may now come on top of this thing. Offer legal support, litigation to claim the properties and whatever they have lost. We need to be a people that demand justice. Posatengera kuti waphwanya wasokoneza chilungamo cho ndi ndani. Posatengera kunena kuti kamapanga zimene ziti kumana ndi Goliath wake ndi tikumana ndi Goliath wanje. Osamaopa mwansanga. Osamonkhala anthu amantha. Osamaopa. Olo even mochedwa osamaopa. Osamaopa. We need to organize ourselves kuti anthu amene akuchoka ku South Africa azuzika mwata ena amenyedwa ena acholedwa miti ena abale awo aphedwa ena aomberedwa. How are we as a country organizing legal team, legal wise, even the ministry? So let me say one thing. Maybe I might forget this point. Crisis in South Africa. Ikukuonesani kufunigira kwenena kuti embassy sikutumiza kwa andale embassy sikutumiza kwa anthu kuwathokoza kuti anakusapotani. Ku embassy sikutumizako anzanu amene mmacheza nawo kapena mamwe nawo mowa. Mwamva anyamata inu. Anyamata amene mukuyendesa boma anu tukuziwani. Ku embassy sikutumiza anyamata kumwe nawo mowa. Ku embassy sikutumiza anthu opanga nawo madiu. You send the embassy and they know international law, they know what is supposed to happen, they know diplomacy, they will sit down and they will tell South African country, is easy and what to you send people with authority, you send people that can represent you and present you well. Come on, mutumiza madoba doba kuma embassy. Matumiza madoba doba ku embassy. Matumiza anthu ozipenta. Osapota jibani ozipenta. The fact that somebody has to be a diplomat doesn't necessarily mean they cannot be political. There are a lot of career diplomats that are political. But it's okay. Kutumiza achiban. Chifukwa choti embassy in the politics. Who said we don't want achiban in the Makanta they are not career oriented? So you should send diplomats that are doing diplomacy as a career and then they align to your policy as a party. Simple as that. So the situation in South Africa shows you how it's important to send the right people to embassy. Sizachibwana, when you're choosing your ambassador and his team. And that's why Antwatu started protected outside. And that should end. The embassy is a feeling. People should feel the embassy. The South African situation should help us improve. Just this issue. We need to know no one is following up with how much money is going. With the private sector. A national bank. And how many one account to national banking? My account down. How much I tell. I'm Guru. Benefit from people that live in South Africa. And you have made a lot of money. You have made billions. You have made billions from people that live in South Africa. We need you to bring money. We need you to bring money. We are not even begging. We are demanding. You owe the people that live in South Africa this money because you have made billions using these people. Mobile banking, you have benefited. I stand at the bank. How many boxes are you sending to take your customers out of South Africa to safety? And NBS, all these people, Nico, and how many are in South Africa? I know a lot of people that are in South Africa that have paid my policies for people in Kumudzigu. Kutiaka Marida, Samali, even my medical care. these people were sweating kumaka gwira ntchito ngati yakavula gaga kumasamala anthu koma iniyo National Bank, Standard Bank, Chanchan, FDH Bank, my bank knows, my financial institutions, you have benefited from the economic activities of these people. Now these people are in the camp. You should say, Nimaona and how come hey, this and that. Kumaka mbirana, they were discussing kuti amalawi tisonke. Amalawi ndi anthu opusa kwambiri. You are very stupid. You have a whole government whose business now is to steal your money. All they're doing is to steal your tax. Panoba, it's an opportunity for you to say, how are you doing? People from South Africa, we should be struggling people in South Africa. In fact, we are very poor, even in our thinking. Malawi, we're not doing ndege. We can afford flights to take ndege. As my Anna, the pregnant women, they shouldn't drive asasengede babasi ulendo oseo. Tuwena utenga ndege from China. We should take ndege kubanga higher ndege. Why are we poor? Why are we poor in our mentality? You think we can't afford garimoto? I mean, we can't afford a plane? Sitinga wanga afford a plane in the whole country. For people that are in danger, and wandi mimba, azmaya pakandi, azinya munga kumene kujako basi 24 hours akuyenda. Mabasi. Even Antonga be passport, they're coming home. They're coming home, God. Why should you be requiring a passport for someone to come home? Just document. The problem of South Africa is documentation. They have a documentation problem. I want to see a government that speaks passively busy. Hey, Chirima. And you are very stupid. You have Malawians that are dying in South Africa and you are thinking about Chirima. You are busy about saying Chirima this, Chirima. What are you talking about? What do you know? What kind of thinking is this? What kind of bullshit is this? No, what kind of bullshit is this? The church is part and parcel of this stupidity. Bingo, ulipa modzi kupanga zopepera mudziko. And hopita ku school, namina kupanga zozerezeka. Your friends are sleeping. Boy, and akugwira. In fact, and how many people Malawi, 12 people that died, sana kama liatina kaudi tuma banka agency. We tinimaize. We are such a joke of a people. We joke too much. The point in manena ulina kuti dziko la athu ndikutekera ndikutekera kupanga haya ndege kuti itenga this special people. Apale anthu maiba jamena kudwala, pale anthu amene ali ma different disabilities, amene mwina kuenda ulendo hotel sizingakhale bwino, anthu ena atha kumamwalira munjira momwe. Pale azimayi apakati, pale ana amene wonte apange tabukire ndege. We can afford that. We can afford. Ngati mukugula ngati mukugula malo 800 million, ngati mukugula magalimoto 800 million, mwenye mukugula ntchito mbomamo mungoba ntchito yanu yokuba. Mo banga deal with 3 issues, basi busy kumangoba. The government of Malawi should be able to mhiva mabasi yake akreso nima toilet minimum akane mabasi abwino get quality buses, and within the journey anthu aja paseni impangani plani bwino ayime pena bage magulire chakuja. They should be dignified as you are moving them. My guys amene muli ku South Africa, amene mukuchoka ku South Africa, moyo mene mwakumana nawo ndi skulu yokwanira. Pamene mukubwerera ku mudzi, anthu amene muli ku kampu tika akakutenganiso kakukweza ndi pandege azimayi ndi njanjanjani. Of course there's another aspect ndisanapitize kukamba izizi ya irresponsibility mene mumaberekerana ku South Africa kunguona mwini pa kampu paja anambwe. It's good, yeah, it's good, but you mwenye plani mwenye musuma mwana do ndi udindo akulu. We need to tiphunzisane bwino kuti ana ndi udindo osamangoberekana ayi. Muzuzisana choncho. Mwana sungangobereke mwana ulibe kuthekera, uzikhala ndi kuthekera mwana wako azibaba amene abereka ana amene wakudali kutiko. Nimamba kuti muna masuka kwambiri ku South Africa mpaka na mabanga zinamu ali ku Johannesburg, ku Durban, even ku Cape Town mabanga zinamu ali. Koma mwene una anthu amene ndina kumachinga kumangochi akusalima amene mayambisa za zinamu ali ku South Africa. Like muna masuka kwambiri mangopanga za chinamu ali. Momwe ndi muzikonza kuti pamawa pangozi titha utani. Basi chiperekanyo mukatere madansi mukatere ine what is this on this? What kind of South Africa is this? What's going on? Zina mwaziba samoto no khasu mwaziba, you know, and of course amene akupanga zote ndopusa koma pano tukambira ndokhato kanduka chiche watu nambo perepa tilongenaze induyere tilongozole njomba perepa chemwali anono akutenda ili kutonda kuona indu yake ya mukupanga ya matapwisi indu yake mwapita hapo pa njomba yamboi Mungu itenda yelei Mungu itenda yutani mukuyendesa bwanji dilo njomba mimi majabo salongosola basi akazi mbwe paka na zinamwali basi pamene bacha nambo perepa akulongosola na nsope akutenda ili ukuyendesa bwanji nkhani anono nambo anono tizikamba kuno kumbali nanuso azukulu akunzimba azukulu akunzimba ifa kunzimba sotu ndimapita hapo azukulu akunzimba azukulu akunzimba ngote una mbembe Kamangila una mbembe Hello, akutenda uli njomba kumangojivo mukupanga bwanji basi kumangoswana kumene kuja mziko la nyake mulibe cho plan yeneni mshino imene mukugwira kwa mwenye mukugwira mashopu mutera basi mpaka na kumabereka ana mpaka na 5 mziko la nyake ana mziko la nyake basi mulibe soma pepa aso kali na mziko mozo What my plan anu maendesa bwanji mapanga zintu zawozi tiphunzire kumakhala chero ziko la nyaji chine chimatha kuchitika osamongo masuka ngati choncho ngati you know but point ina ndionena kunena kuti dziko la Malawi now ndifuna ndikambe zaife amene tili kumudzi now isana kambe za anthu amene tili kumudzi anthu amene muchoka ku South Africa mukubwera ku Malawi kunoko musabwere ngati maduli sino maduli pamunakhala maduli ngati munakhala masosi munakakhala bongo ndikuthana ndi masosi anzana musabwere ku Malawi kunoko mwafikano ngena muzito opseza mmiseu muzile pera kuyenda basi muyambeso kubaso town mutikuomberani tithana nanu apolisi mukhalelede kukhwimisa chitetezo anthu amene akuchoka ku South Africa ena yake kuli zigawenga zimene ntchito imene mapanga zinenso zigawenga kumeneko sakuti Amalawi onse amapanga zabwino so tikhalire tuchero mwakumbukira ndazakamba point ya coordination you know nakamba nkhani ya ministry ambiri including homeland so homeland ikwena ikhale pa chero kunena kuti anthu amene akuchoka ku South Africa kakhala kagulukena kamene even ku South Africa ako kamayima anthu panjira kumabera kamabajani kamaba magari moto chancha because I know the syndicates I know how Amalawi amene amabera magari moto ndikukuziwani kagulukano kamene mayuza ma insurance companies I know what you're doing ena ndanzanga ndinali ku school imodzi pano munayamba business jai kudaboti ndalama zochokera ku John ine kukufufuzani akumenya atu akubatu magari moto ahoti awo they are using this insurance industry they akubera ma insurance magari moto ahoti ata Aisha iche kuno kuti kushawa ati kumeneko mabanga mashawa ku South Africa Aisha iche kuno muli kusana ngoti nambo wewa akutenda iti anono simunaendese bwino dziko la nyage basi kusanduka zachibwana. So homeland, you don't have an excuse, you have time to prepare, and is anthu sewa mwapange chipiki cheni mwafufuze ndipo muzisala kuti akuenda bwino. Ma kitchen top up akuti anavuta kwambiri ku South Africa. You munamasuka kwambiri. You have to behave moba basi. Anthu amenewa mukabwera kunoko inuyo ayina asthma. Nizanga ina asthma nimamkonda kwambiri. Fine. Tapozira limodzi primary tasewera limodzi ayina Ishmael ayina Basigol ayina James mukabwera kumalawi kunoko sikristo ni madolo so muzioneka ngati madolo bwera kunoko basi muzizopsheza sana ntakubonesa wena masimbi wena kunjani wena hola basi avala chipewa chawo chita nakhala kuti ndachili pafupi nakava basi hola what's up wena kunjani sakubonetsa wena masimbi mwatusa mpeni mukatero ngati usatusa mpeni ku Johannesburg konko ku Durban konko ngati muli madolo mutuluse mpeni ku Durban konko muthane ni magayizi konko kuno mukabwera mufase behave yourself zausiru ayi mukabwera kuno behave mzavuda moyo okay maka azibambo ndi vuto lonena kunena kuti kuyambiraso kumativuta we have problems ya kuyambiraso. We should be humble kuti moyo umatha kusayenda pena pake, and zinthu zinaende, let's be humble enough to sit down, calm down and start again. There is no stupidity in starting again. Actually, there's wisdom in starting, even military, even asilikali. Imagine hajira, ati mpaka kusimba, wanga chinamwa. Even military, the best militaries are the ones that are able to retreat. America mnayoona mene mamba nkhondo yake ya Iran matama ukhawo tanjini ataona mene Iran ikubwera Trump nonda ati tikambirani munali ku retreating imene kuti abange so plan ina kuti aba bandi dizendesa bwana ndengati America mene ili America ija imapeze kuti yabalalika ndikubwera kale ndi mukuli banji inuyo moyo wanu osapanga manyazi bwerani basi dekani kaya munali oyendesa jando ku South Africa ko kunoko kuli anyage amene amaendesa jando musabwereso kuti muone muya dekani basi inyo muzingoonera kuti zikuyenda bwanji ino munali anankungi ku South Africa kunoko kuli anyage ku Malawi dekani azibambo. We should learn to start again. We should learn. There's no nothing more umaenda jonjo, and we are all starting. Life is a departure always. It's never an arrival. We are alive when we die. Come every time we are rethinking, we are reinventing ourselves to build, and this experience should build you. Zimene zachitikazi anzanga amene kuchoka ku South Africa azimayi azibambo zitikulise tikwime, and boma tikuyenda tikhandi plan with these people. We should have a plan. Tinakanika kale kukhandi plan faka anthu amapita kumagwira zintchito zimene amagwira ambiri talent yawo anakatha kugwira Malawi muno, koma we left them with no choice. In fact, given a chance, they will go back next week. Next week they'll go back if we don't have a plan. So we have no choice but to have a plan. And I mean, I haven't seen any demonstration in South Africa because I'm a demo. Private visit. I'm sorry. I didn't say which but I didn't mean that. He didn't go to APM. He has gone to a private visit. Private visit kumene kwapita APM. Maina kupanga ma demonstration kuda kutengeni ifetu ndemutitenga nawo. Ifeso nafe tufuna DJ nawo zimene mukuja ku hotel imene muli ali ku hotel yanjika. Hotel imene muli. Muzapezeka mabasita nazo mankhwala zimenezi. Zoma ngonena kuti APM zimene mukuja zo ifeso DJ nawo azakupasani mankhwala ka mapilisi. Private visit. My point is we are not an active citizenry. See if you are ameniti makhala ndichidwi ndi zinthu even zinthu zoti zipanga affect ifeyo simakhala nazo ndichidwi kuona kuti pangapo chani. We are supposed to cause chaos in South Africa kuja on the arrival ya president watu wabwera IPM akwenda apite ku camp. If IPM is in South Africa, private visit or whatsoever, akwenda apite ku camp yi ku Durban. By the way, he has to go his people if he's in the country, unless he's incapacitated. Nemu tuuze ngati incapacitated kuti ziziyo fa zikafika pamene popo ndi never. Komano president akhala bwanji ku South Africa, apita bwanji ku South Africa, red carpet and all those kind of things, masairini, security, chanchani, komosa kaona anthu ake utebe. Apita kaone utebe. Ngati wapita ku private visit and private visit, he can go and see his citizens in his private visit, in his private endeavors. Unless he is sick. And if he's sick, may he get well soon. Which I doubt, because condition ya IPM, you know that when I zingo landed treatment to manage. For he's old in one cool, and ndijani udindo senza Malawi wage so chikampulikire. Fa Malawi janafika ba chikampulikire. You need serious people. You need Kamangilas to lead that country. I'm not saying I'll be the one to lead Malawi, but you need a Kamangila to lead. Whether a female Kamangila, whether a male Kamangila, you need whether an old. It doesn't mean to be of my age. It doesn't need to be a lawyer. It doesn't. Nobody wants to fix things today. And there's woman out here, you need to be patient. No. We have been patient for 50 years. We can't be patient. Patience hasn't given us anything. But nobody in how we are come on. We have to catch up. Come on, what's happening? If you are South Africa, the man now goes to the president what Hollywood. The people going to go protest. Even protest can down to 10 or 20. It will go international. And Pamene ubwera South Africa kuno, ubwera Malawi kuno kutoka South Africa, make sure kunena kuti mudeke, it's okay to start over. Kuyambiranso sivuto. Aliyense amayambiranso moyo umatero umene, moyo umayenda moteromo. Anthu amene amaoneka kuti samayambiranso, amene umwafuse kuti wodi moyo wawo kuyenda bwanji. An tested life is unworthy living. Moyo umene sukumana ndi zinthu ziyango umakhala moyo odi so andi nditu koma ndi ziyango ndu peze kuti wazidusa wazipirira umasanduka munthu olimba nditu ndipo zimakuthandiza mitanda. Those are crosses we meet along the way, so you carry them with pride. Chikwama chako chimene umakaya jumbo imene utafisike nayo pachileka anthu asakupange ni shame. And ma journalists mundi udindo oteteza dignity ya anthu amenewa. Mwamva inu ma journalists osamangupanga zoti mugulise news. You don't know what that person has gone through. You don't know what is going on. You can't do that just to sell. You can't embarrass your own citizens just to sell, just for the news. You can't. You owe responsibility. And wajuma okaoka. Yakamangila zimene mukunena zitikalemba ati sumina. And osauka kwa jambula wapanga post. Do you see now? And osauka matamangila kwa jambula kwa ika pa front page. And who mean ndifuna tifuse kaye maloya watu zimene mayankhula Kamangila tifuse kaye umboni anthu osauka simafuna kaye umboni ba anthu osauka mango ajambula mwina bagi yake munthu janasi apo pilo ndamene ananyamula. You are like that. A society yomwe mango lemekeza anthu ajuma or based on status. It has to end. Chimene mafuna kukamba choti anthu mukabwera ku South Africa musakhale maduli. Inyo si maduli ngati mwathamangisira kuna wake wo ndikubwera ndi mukhaso bani sinu maduli. Calm down. Kumudziko musavutise anthu ntima township imwo musavutise anthu sinu maduli ndinu makabe. Kumano chachikulu ndinu Malawi ndifewo tukulanda anda Malawi. Make sure kuti mwalandira anthu musakhaleso basi kungwachitira nsanje kumaona ngati akulanda nanga just because munthu ali ndi sneaker and t-shirt yolemba apa chani ama South Africans amakonda malebo. Malebo ake achikali naye koma ndi malebo basi. Munthu ngomona kuti wavala Dulax, ngomona kuti munthu wavala nsabato ina yake basi yakujoni basi amene akuzembera akubwera ndi moto yake. Let's welcome these people. Tiwalandire ngati the prodigal son kati walandira hage nditu tipe nyama tiapase opportunities. Let's allow them. Let's embrace them. Integrate. No, don't give let's not stigmatize, because when you stigmatize, then 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 the ones that are going to traumatize us. If you demand to wapanga zao, to wapanga nkhaza, kuma wameza ati wapanga nkhaza. Tiye anthu aja alandire boma ndani nakali mpange ma process. Ndalama zilipo. Ndifake mukugula magalimoto, ndifake mukugula ma plot 800 million. Mala timasevesera kwambiri. Ndifake mukutumiza ndalama. Kufanya mugula matraki Mukuziwa kuti ni Norman Chisale. Oh, Norman Chisale kumanga manyumba actually. Pafupi ndi airport. I know all the details about Norman Chisale. Ndipangira live ndi bwana wake. Fa pita mukito sinatane naye. Ndikudikira kaye matraki amene wagula 100 kuti afike pa level ina yake. Akafika pa level ina yake ndikatola information yokwanira. Level imene akusunisa. So no ujeni pita mukito wagula matraki 100. Ndimuntu olemera kwambiri. He makes his money clean money. Yeah, he has bought 100 trucks at once. Yes. No, he needed DPP to be in power because you know DPP imathandiza kuti ma business azienda bwino. That's why when DPP is in power, he's able to buy at once 100 trucks. Peter Mukita amene. Kuma ikakhauri ndi MCP jema sokoneza economics, you know? So sangate kugula ana business sangagule matraki even imodzi yokha sangagule. For ama sokoneza MCP. Then zakamba muno zakufoneza ni economy imaendera. Economy ya DPP imathandiza a business. Amu DPP imo achina mukito kuti atha kugula matraki 100 and I'll explain how that works. Economy imene imaenda mani. On the other side, we have to be people that are paying attention to what's happening around us, including to the fact that there's a reason why people move to South Africa. Now, I'm discussing these things separately and in detail because there's a lot of mix and match. The chaos that is happening, the stupidity of South Africans has nothing to do with what has happened in our country. And the stupid statement that South Africans would make, or a South African would make, or any other African, but we know I'm a African, well, I'm a valance, I don't want to, you know, I'm a young as Africa, as Africanism, he's okay. The Malawians or the Africans, they should go back to their countries and fix their countries. That's stupidity. The people that are in each of these countries, they have enough people to fix the countries. Why should we need people that are in South Africa to come and fix the countries in these African countries? We don't need these people to come. We, the people that are in our countries right now, we have the capacity. We should be the ones to push and all that. So the point is, we don't need people to be chased from other countries for our countries to be fixed. For God's sake, what kind of argument is that? What kind of stupid argument is that? One thing that is clear is that for a country like Malawi, we have all the potential. A very small country, easy to run, easy to fix, easy to distribute resources to the right places, and to start, you know, an industrialization and an economy that is worth appointing as an economy. Because right now in Malawi we have a cooperative. We are running a cooperative. It's not an economy. We don't have an economy. An economy cannot be the one that we see, where the majority of foreign currency is found in the informal sector, is found with the cartel, is found with criminals. When the banks don't have forex, and the little forex that the banks have, they are also selling it to the cartel. That's not an economy. Reserve Bank of Malawi is just a symbol, but it's not doing its job. For years, it has not been doing its job. It's actually have been enabling these criminals. So that's the biggest issue. We need to push our leadership to start working for Malawians, for the country. And if we needed any more evidence to how urgent this issue is, the issue of corruption, fixing the judiciary, fixing justice, ensuring that rule of law is running, ensuring that when people have stolen government money or any money at all, if you have stolen money, even from the church, in the church, these people should be arrested. If you had any doubt how urgent that aspect of urgency is, or aspect of life or demand is, now you have the evidence of how urgent this issue is. The fact that you have Malawians that are stuck, about 7,000 in Durban and Malawi. People should not be stuck in Durban within. That's it. How many kilometers? For God's sake. But these people were toying and sending money to their poor citizens, their poor relatives, their poor acquaintances, their poor children in Malawi. And that's why they might likely not have anything. The other thing that is very important is for us to demand the accountability, and I demand treatment here, accountability, and treating these refugees or people that are stuck in Durban and in South Africa at large with dignity. demanding that it's not only buses that can move Malawians from South Africa. We can hire planes for those people that need planes. The elderly, the women, the children, the pregnant women, those that are sick, the pregnant women and those that are sick. We need to dignify ourselves. We should be a people with pride. Have some pride, have some purpose, be decisive as well. Some of the things that we are struggling, the discussions between Malawi and South African because of the indecisiveness. Make decisions and start moving people as quickly as possible. Malawi and South Africa, we are so close. Why is this a nightmare? Why are we having people stay that long at the camp? Both Malawians and the leadership, you see, you were doing what the South Africans are doing, especially the government of Malawi, was doing this even worse to people from Burundi, people from Congo, people from Rwanda, and people from Africa. Those that were black, you never did this to white people, you never did this to Indians, you never did this to Asians, that are even in majority, that are in the country illegally. But you're targeting the Rwandese, you are targeting Africans, Afrophobia. Kudana ndi anthu achifrika. Bantu, what happened to Bantu? What happened to Umuntu? What happened to Umuntu? What happened to Ubuntu? Where is Ubuntu? South Africa, you claim to the world as the father of Ubuntu. Where is Ubuntu, South Africa? South Africa, where is Ubuntu, Anu? I don't have words for South Africans, the government, the citizens. For Malawi, it was the government which was focusing on itself. You did harm fellow Africans, and that's unacceptable. The reason why it wasn't a regional issue or a global issue, it was because Malawi is not it doesn't have an economy to reckon with. That's the reason, But what happened in Malawi was equally bad. You should not undermine the things that Malawi did. Let me say on this aspect, I would have to have a further conversation just to discuss what happened. But I did a live before on what happened to Malawi, including the Inua advocacy, how Inua was chased without justification. Up to now, Inua is not in the country because they were protecting the rights of refugees. The right to remand is critical for any rights, for any legal system, for any social intercourse. In any society, for people to interact properly, you need rule of law. So they need a remedy where a violation has occurred. Now, let me move away from Malawians in Johannesburg, Durban, in South Africa, and Malawians in Malawi, and Malawian leaders, now to South Africans. Matsotswena, you South Africans have shown how poor you are in your thinking, how you have adopted stupidity as a character. And as a nation, this is not about the Zulus. This is a nation. It's a reflection of nation. What you have done to Africans is a character that has been adopted by the nation. That's why the people that were going to chase fellow Africans from South Africa were going there with the police. What does that mean? What does that mean? If you can't say our political leaders because you chose those political leaders. So if those political leaders hate Africans, you are responsible for choosing that leadership that allows people to hate fellow Africans, to chase fellow Africans from Africa with the police escorting them. Basically, the police protecting the criminals to do the crime and not be arrested and they get out. South Africans, you have shown your deficiency in your thinking, your lack of understanding of your history, where you come from. Because South Africa is what it is because of every African. Most of you, actually, maybe a quarter of the population, as big as a quarter is huge. It means if there are, let's assume there are 100 million people in South Africa, 25% of those people are not South Africans origin. They are, people that are from other parts, Nigerians, Nigerians, Malawians, Zimbabweans. South Africa is made up of Zimbabweans and they speak similar language. You can't talk about South Africa without talking about Zimbabwe. What are you talking about? And this is okay. And we are talking of other parts of Congolese and all those kind of Zambians. South Africa is what it is because of other Africans. Tanzanians, Kenyans, they call, you know why America was or has been a superpower? It's because it opened itself to geniuses from across the world. The best were going to America. Even the best Chinese were finding themselves in America. And so no nation progresses by closing its borders. No nation in the world. There's no nation in the world that has progressed because there's something going on with my TikTok. Yet the part that I'm discussing is very important for TikTok because I want the South Africans to hear what I'm saying. There's no nation that progresses. So I was saying, apologies. There's no nation, South Africans, don't be stupid. Don't be ignorant. What you've been doing, and this is to South Africa, it's not to the Zulus or specific, it's just few people. No. These people have gotten the confidence from all of you, South Africans, from your leadership. And who appointed those leaders? It's you. You have a South Africa that has got a section that is saying, we are our own nation, we will just be a nation of white people, no black person. In South Africa, as we speak. And then you have the you have the strength, you have the confidence to be chasing other Africans, yet you have white people in your country saying this will be our town, this will be our country, no black person. You must have lost your mind, South Africans, because you have done the opposite. You have been very ironic. It's sad to see. For me, it shocks my spirit. And what is weird for me is critical people like Julius Malema. They wait for the things. You know what happens? These things don't happen just because the Julius Malema. I've studied you, Julius. You wait when things go out of hand and then you start speaking. But also what you speak, you don't really, you're at least our hope as far as Africans, the way you think. Let me not just be critical of you. You are at least our hope. And that's very hard. Because it's Julius, my name. But you at least our hope when you talk about understanding Africanism and you stand your ground. You've been very consistent, Julius. I give you your credit for that. You've been very consistent on your statements. But are you telling me, Julius, you're failing to organize South Africa to stop this bullshit? Like, if you're failing to organize Africans to understand this simple concept that you cannot develop a country by closing its borders, how are you going to lead South Africa? Who are you going to lead if you can't lead people to understand that? Because the Zulus get their ground to do what they do, the confidence from everyone, from the South African approach. South Africans naturally, especially South Africans that are in South Africa, not that are in diaspora. In diaspora, South Africans are one of the best people you meet. And they treat you nicely with fellow Africans and know that South Africans are not a problem in diaspora. But South Africans that live in South Africa, that have grown up in South Africa and they have grown up in Africa, they think South Africa is the best thing that has ever happened to the world. Like, for God's sake, what are you talking about? South Africans that have just been living in South Africa, they think South Africa is the best thing that has happened to the world. Like, I laugh. Like, I look at it, I laugh. Yes, it's a better country in terms of a number of things, but it's not because of Africans. It's not because of you, black people. It's not because of you. It is the white people that organize that system. And you have come and you have destroyed and you continue to destroy, and then you're destroying yourself. And Nelson Mandela, when he came out of prison and became the first black president of South Africa, one thing that he did, which you South Africans, you stupid South Africans, who are in majority, in fact, the majority of South Africans are stupid. That's why the Zulu people, the people that are causing havoc, they are getting confidence from them thinking, the confidence, the direction, the understanding of the majority of South Africans. Even those that are not going to the streets, even the media, they're reporting how they report. I am very, very upset with the ignorance and the stupidity. Because, you see, Nelson Mandela, he said, I do not accept you to leave tomorrow just because I'm president. He said, if you want to build South Africa with me, you stay and you work hard. Let's build South Africa for all, for black, for white. And that's why South Africa was able to win the World Cup, the rugby. That's why South Africa continued to progress. It became a basket, it became a center for it became, and it was already a country where, in your minds, there were Malawians in the minds. You know, in your minds, there were Zimbabweans in your minds. There's no South Africa without fellow Africans. Like literally. The things you farm, the things that you grow, and it's usually white farmers. You're dealing with a crisis. When you look at your economy in South Africa, how much of that economy is in the hands of black people? Or black South Africans? How much? So what are you talking about? So you hate yourself. You hate your own color. And Julius Malema is right. But where I have a problem with Julius Malema is that he waits for these people to gain ground and then he comes out and condemn them. And he's not done enough because these things have been happening for years, Julius. While you have been a leader of it, how many times has it happened? And why is it continuing to happen? Why is it continuing to happen if you don't like it? If your structures are built in a way that it was. So I don't like politics of Zati Pamaso, hypocrisy, hypocritical politics, where you say something else or what on the ground something else is happening. These are what in fact, the people that are doing this, that are your supporters, they are people that like you. That's why they actually expect you to support them and to be on their side. And every time this thing is happening. So where is your leadership, Julius? We depend on you as fellow Africans, as young leaders like me. I look up to how you stand up your ground in other things, not everything, but in other things. Now, how have you been around? So I'm looking at Trevor Noah. You are a global icon, comedian, and you are an educationist. I see you as Trevor Noah. I see you as an educationist. How are you allowing this to happen? How many shows have you discussed this important issue? You discuss American problems so well, European problems so well. How are you not Trevor Noah? How are you not putting a script that talks about these things? For a long time, these things have been. How are you not? You have rugby stars, the captain of South Africa. I support rugby just because of South Africa. I follow rugby just because of South Africa, but not anymore. Now I support the Irish team, who are the best in the world in rugby. But before these, xenophobic, stroke Afrophobic behaviors, I was 100% South Africa. I support South Africa. And it's difficult for me to support Ireland because every time I see a black team with a white team, I am just attracted to the melanin. And it was difficult for me to support Mexico, but I had no choice. And Mexicans, they do nice taco. And they behave like Africans. They are families. So it's easy to associate yourself with a Mexican. But it's not easy to support Mexicans in the World Cup when they are playing against South Africa. But we had no choice. Bafana was on its own for the first time in a country, in a match where they are playing a European or a nation that is not from Africa. Let me not take much of your time, South Africans. But what I can say is that you are shooting yourself from the foot. And I think by now you're already aware of this. And by that, I want also African presidents, African leadership to come together and bring some sort of sanity to South Africans by showing them that they can't stand on their own. They can't. That aside, all African leaders should be embarrassed for whatever is happening in the continent of Africa. For lack of leadership, for lack of political will, for failing your citizens. You have failed your citizens. You have failed Africa. African leaders, you have failed Africa. And we need now to awaken. We should not wait for a Messiah. And there'll be how in the know how we are one, and you speak Bantu. You speak Bantu languages. So now in the know Machawi. African leaders, Machawi. Machawi African leaders. We don't have time. We have wasted 100 years. We have wasted a lot of colonialism, stole everything, and now what is remaining? You're allowing it to be stolen through neocolonialism, through corruption. You are just part of the corruption. Nonsenu, mungo gwizana kubera antwanu. You're just stealing from your people. And that's why this chaos is happening. No leadership, zero leadership. African leaders arise to the occasion. This thing should not even have reached where it is now. Why do we have Zimbabweans being treated like this in South Africa? When you can't talk about South African economy without Zimbabweans, you cannot. You can't talk about South Africa economy without Zambians and Malawians and Kenyans and Nigerians even. Let's not forget. And do you see how embarrassing it is that Africans, the Zulus, they are quick to take off a knife to want to kill an African, someone who is black, but they can't do that to an Indian, to an Asian. There are a lot of Asians. In Durban, I've been in Durban, I think, and I saw so many Indians. Has that changed? The Guptas had a plane landing at the military, at the military airport, at a base, a military base. Now you are chasing Africans with a knife, with a machete. How stupid, how more stupid can one be? I don't know. You have white people in South Africa. You are not chasing. So I'm not saying, no, don't chase South Africa, but chase the white people. Or don't chase, but chase the Asians. I'm just exposing the stupidity. The pure stupidity. But this stupidity has been sponsored by the leadership, has been sponsored by the form of education, has been sponsored by years and years of inequality within South Africa. There is inequality. Some of these characters and behaviors is because of inequality, over years of inequality of these people. Then they lose it and they start doing things that you can't understand. But it's an issue of inequality. It's an issue of ensuring that you uplift these people. We're talking about lack of knowledge and ignorance. How have we allowed these people to be ignorant and to lack knowledge? It's the leadership, because you thrive with that. The Zumas of this world thrive on the ignorance of the people, and it was okay. You think it was okay. You thought it was okay, but these are the fruits of a political landscape that benefits and uplifts itself through the ignorance of the people, that thrives on the lack of knowledge of its citizens. Palibe zone na unena ngudi anthu abwirire kwa kuti akakonze maiko. You don't need anthu ena kuti abwirire ku Malawi kuti zinthu. Anthu amene ku Malawi tikuyenda tidzuke tikonze dziko. We don't need kuti anthu ena akachoko. Ndikuganiza mopepera kumeneko. Ndikuganiza mobwera mbuyo. Anthu andi ufulu okhala kumene akuona kunena kuti akhale ndi wathu kule miyo yawo. Every African has got a right to go to any African country and uplift themselves. Of course, not to commit crime. Of course, not to in breach of the immigration laws and rules and all that. Of course. And this is where people are able or are not able to question themselves, to say, really, what are the statistics of crime in South Africa? South Africans are, in 90% of the crimes are committed by South Africans. 90%. I'm not even kidding you. And then, when 1, 2, 3 foreigners commit a crime, hey, this is foreigner, this is bloody foreigner. Come on. Being in a foreign country doesn't mean you can't be criminals. There will be criminals, of course, from other countries. Other countries cannot say, no, we'll send you pious people, we'll send you priests, we'll send you pastors. Oh, should we send you a prophet? South Africans, do you want us to send you another prophet? You know what Bushiri did to you, eh? We sent you a prophet. Even worse, we should have sent you maybe a drunkard and not a prophet. But that was just a light moment. The truth of the matter is that the responsibility to behave accordingly as a nation lies in all of you. And when Africans are mistreated, the responsibility lies in all of you as well. You know, if something happens, when something good happens from South Africa, when South Africans have done something good, you all celebrate. If Bafana wins the next match, all of you, you're going to take pride in that. And if few South Africans, or whether they are few or whatever, do something wrong, you should take responsibility and fix the issue, not rhetoric statements that we saw from Ramaphosa and all that. When behind, you have allowed these people, you are escorting them with the police. They were going there with the police. Life is interesting because history teaches us that the Nigerians did this to Ghanaians in a train, and the Ghanaians had done this to Nigerians. And what we see is that it destroys the nations that do this. We have seen that in Malawi. Malawians did this through their government, not Malawians, but the government of Malawi under the Dr. Lazarus Chakwera committed crimes against immigrants, using the police, and what happened? It affected the economic activities of the areas where these people were doing businesses, and these businesses could not be taken over by anyone else. And that's what we are seeing in South Africa, and that will happen more. And people that were working in the farms, the people that were working in the groceries, the people that were the economy of South Africa is dependent on Africans. It's not dependent on South Africans. For God's sake, how ignorant are you? South Africans, the economy of that country is dependent on Africans. Let us pray in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Glory be to the Father, and Son, and the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Let's be practical. Pragmatism is very important. Let's be action-oriented. The government of Malawi, be quick. Act urgently. The patience that we have, it will lead us to the grave. We are going to die because of the patience, the lack of agency. These people are stranded. This is not a wedding. It's not a beautiful thing that they are at the camp. So rush. Are you not embarrassed? So it's embarrassing. Quick. Let's scream. It's like a baby that has pooped themselves. You don't remove the diaper and just leave it for some time and admire. We are like admiring our poop. What is happening? You don't poop and then admire it, and then stay there in the bathroom, in the toilet, looking at admiring your poop. What is happening in Durban? It's our poop as a nation, as Malawi. So we need to be urgent and quick to clean up our poop. Wipe up our asses. Our asses are exposed and they are not clean. So we need to wipe. Quick, get your tissue and wipe up your ass, Malawi, by taking the Malawians that are stuck in Durban back to the country through buses, through planes. Other people have to travel by plane as quick as possible. Those that are pregnant, those that are babies, the elderly, those that are sick. You should fly them. And we have the money. You collect tax. This is what you do. Well, this is what you do for these people that have been paying tax. I'm calling out the financial institutions, all the banks, Mukuru, Hero Paisa, all the money, mobile bankings, the Airtel, Tionere, the people that are stuck in Durban, they are the ones that were giving you billions of profits. At that juncture, let me thank you for attending and for participating in this live, despite the fact that we have a beautiful match that is going on in the World Cup. Go have fun. God be with you. Good night and good morning or good afternoon to those that are in other parts of the world.